I literally think the WWE legit hates SmackDown. All right, all my wrestling fans and all my movie buffs, make sure y'all do me a favor and listen to my podcast and subscribe to my YouTube channel right now, Astro Bros MJ. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, people. I need all those watch hours and everything. And also, I need people to share this podcast. If you like wrestling, if you like video games, if you like movies, I'm your guy. All right, without further ado, let me talk to y'all about something. So, I fell in love with professional wrestling when I was, how old? I don't know. I'm 33 right now. In 1999, I remember watching the first or second episode of Smackdown. And I was just so bored. I had a shitty day in school. I was like, ugh, I want to watch TV. I don't want to play the video game. I don't got no friends. I'm depressed. So let me find something to just suppress my mind. So I watched SmackDown. And I think one of the matches was The Rock was in the main event against Triple H for the WWE title. This, that, and the fourth. Anyways, man, I just fell in love with it. So I fell in love with it. And I became a huge wrestling fan. And throughout the later years, I just grew to love SmackDown. SmackDown was one of my favorite brands because, number one, I didn't have cable. I had regular TV. So whenever I want to watch Monday Night Raw, I always watch it on Telemundo. Real ones know. Telemundo showed WWE Raw. So I used to watch WWE Raw on Telemundo and everything. And it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad at all. But whatever the case is, watching Monday Night Raw on Telemundo was a little boring, and eventually I got cable, but I just became a fan of SmackDown. Like, SmackDown was my childhood. Like, seeing Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal, like, letting, like, Eddie and Los Guerreros was really dope. And then Eddie turned on Chavo, or Chavo turned on Eddie, and then later years Eddie turned on Ray, this, that, and the fourth. But make a long story short, Eddie Guerrero was a staple of SmackDown. Eddie Guerrero, to me, would have been world champion and multi-time champion if he didn't die. Then the name we shall not say, Chris Benoit, was a staple of the SmackDown. Edge was a staple of SmackDown. Then I remember wrestlers like becoming really, really great and goated to one up Raw was John Cena. John Cena was literally the guy that debuted on SmackDown and carried SmackDown and put them on the map. The Rock literally made these shows SmackDown. He said, lay up the smacking down on your candy ass. So The Rock was literally the guy that pretty much created SmackDown. He was like how when you think of shoes or something, first thing that comes to many people's minds of like the best shoe brand in the world is literally Jordan or Nike. Like, when you think of, basketball player, you're going to think of Michael Jordan. NBA, you're going to think of Michael Jordan sometimes. Same thing with WWE. You're going to think of, like, shows. Like, what shows you know about WWE? Everybody these days are going to say Monday Night Raw and WWE SmackDown. Tuesday Night SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, Thursday Night SmackDown on UPN. A lot of people know that. So SmackDown was very synonymous for a lot of great moments. Like, Batista's greatest run was on SmackDown. Undertaker was a resident of SmackDown. He was like the GOAT of SmackDown. Recently, Roman Reigns was a resident of SmackDown. He was the GOAT of SmackDown. Then John Cena returned to the WWE, and he became a staple and a resident of SmackDown with a lot of his feuds. He was a SmackDown superstar somewhat due to him being a free agent. But now, once again, WWE, as usual, take away great talent. The man Becky Lynch gimmick debuted on SmackDown. So the house that AJ Styles built was on SmackDown. So it just pisses me off, man, when you have all those great talents being residents of SmackDown, but the networks or Vince or Triple H or whoever just say, hey, screw WWE SmackDown. Damn it. Monday Night Raw is the show to go to. And I just hate the fact that it's on Raw. I don't like the fact that everything is on Monday Night Raw. You got to get the superstars on. You got to put the superstars on Raw. The superstars you got to put on Raw is like when Becky Lynch was like over with the man and her and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte was carrying the show. You drafted Becky to SmackDown. Or Roman recently got drafted to Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. Becky was drafted to Raw. Then, what do you call it? The Street Profits. Street Profits to me was one of the hottest tag teams of the new generation on SmackDown. Same thing with the Usos, but you keep switching them on Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. It's annoying. But even like when they put Roman Reigns on Raw, I was so pissed, bro, because it's like we need a superstar. Cody is good. I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan, but Cody is going to shoot a movie. Or Cody got some things going and he got the championship. Now we got Cody Rhodes becoming a part-time champion. And everybody that's a part-time champion pretty much had a really good career on SmackDown. Roman Reigns' longest reign and the longest reign of the current era of WWE was on SmackDown, bro. So it just infuriates me that we don't have any good stars on SmackDown anymore. Like, I can't name any good stars on SmackDown. Main event Jey Uso debuted on SmackDown with the solo gimmick. Or I think he debuted on Raw. But anyways, Jey Uso was probably like getting over and it was planting the seeds for main event Jey Uso. Now, he's not treated right. Or currently, we have a talent like Carmelo Hayes who constantly gets buried. The Street Profits constantly get buried. A lot of black talent gets buried. Like Jade Cargill. She's not getting buried, but she's not champion. Then watch. Jade may win that title and then boom, they put her on Raw. Or how Naomi was so fucking good. And she on Raw now. So anything that make SmackDown a show to watch or a superstar that's so good in SmackDown, you give them to Monday Night Raw. And then after a while, another talent comes. And you fall in love with the other talent on SmackDown, and you forget about that current talent, then whoop-de-doo, the chain reaction happens again, bro. But I feel like if you put somebody like Trick Williams on SmackDown, or Tony D'Angelo on SmackDown, or Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, they need to refresh SmackDown and have a draft. Because recent Survivor Series for damn near 20 fucking years, SmackDown has always taken the L. Always taken the L when it was SmackDown versus Raw. SmackDown has always taken the L. Even realistically speaking of the ratings, SmackDown takes the L sometimes. Roman Reigns was putting SmackDown on the map. I don't know who can fill that mantle of SmackDown, because once Cody loses that title, who's going to be a champion to carry it? But they could build a superstar. It was rumored that they may have like Carmelo Hayes and the Street Profits become a faction or some shit like that. I personally feel like this is what I would do. Let me see. If I work for the WWE, I would do this. I would put Montez Ford as a single superstar on SmackDown. Let him ditch Angelo Dawkins. Let Angelo go to NXT. Let Angelo build and become a gimmick. This, that, and the fourth, because if you grew up on OG NXT, Angelo Dawkins has, was with different teams before. But I feel like Montez Ford has that same aura that Shawn Michaels has, where he don't need to be a tag team superstar. He has that same aura to me, that The Miz and John Morrison had. And when I say The Miz and John Morrison, I feel like both Miz and John Morrison were both great, but yet John Morrison kept getting buried. But both him and Miz, to me, were organically really good superstars to me. Still to this day, I have respect for Miz and John Morrison. But when you think of The Miz and Morrison, The Miz has more accolades than John Morrison. But I remember growing up watching SmackDown, and one of my favorite tag teams of all time when I was a kid was Paul London and Brian Kendrick and Eminem beefing. And then I remember the Hardys was on SmackDown. Like, that tag division was stacked. But when the Hardys broke up, I was heartbroken. But then Matt Hardy went to ECW, and this, that, and the fourth. He had an okay run at ECW, but I remember Jeff Hardy came and became the WWE champion. Then years later, he became the World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Like, we don't have Cena anymore. We don't have no superstar anymore. But I like the fact that realistically speaking, Jeff Hardy is our champion, and then CM Punk came along and ruined that. But then CM Punk was a superstar on SmackDown, killing it with the straight edge society and everything, and beefing with people. And I'm not a CM Punk fan. I'm mixed on CM Punk because I think he's an asshole. So what I would do if I was WWE, I would draft CM Punk to SmackDown, draft AJ Lee to SmackDown, somehow build a way for Montez Ford to be a heel, get Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, reshape SmackDown and make it an A show. Make it an A show. Let Punk get the WWE championship or something. Like, let him be champion again. Let AJ Lee be a champion again. Like, let something good happen for SmackDown. Refresh the brand because it'll be better. It'll be better if, I don't know, man. I just feel it. Like, is Jimmy Uso completely off SmackDown since he was on Raw with Jey Uso this Monday? Like, is the Usos over? Like, over meaning like, are they going to get over again with the fans? Meaning, are we going to have the Usos back? We have also seeds of Trick Mello, like Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Like, just imagine if we had Mello and Trick Williams as a tag team. Imagine if Carmelo Hayes went back as a bad guy, because the swerve to me would be make Miz face, which many people won't like, and make Carmelo Hayes a heel, because Carmelo Hayes is a great heel. And he's not a shadow of somebody. Then him and Trick Williams become a tag team again. And we can have Trick Mello on SmackDown. Some shit like that, bro. Have CM Punk and AJ Lee on SmackDown. Have freaking Montez Ford as a badass heel on SmackDown, because the way I feel like about Montez Ford, guys, it's the same way I feel, because I grew up with Attitude Era. It's the same way I feel when The Rock was with the Nation of Domination and he became the leader of the Nation of Domination. He beat the shit out of Farouk. This, that, and the fourth. But then after a while, that black propaganda bullshit was just annoying. It was like, ah. And then The Rock became a badass and a smart talker on the mic. So I feel like Montez Ford need that solo run, that singles run. Like, get that gimmick with him. Get Bianca Belair to be like a badass heel, because heel Bianca was so good on NXT, or I don't know if it was a heel, I don't know what she had, but her NXT gimmick was phenomenal. Have a badass Bianca Belair come back with Montez Ford. Like, let them be a dominant team and let Montez Ford win a title or something, and we have a Survivor Series match somehow where we in a up around the line where it's Seth Rollins and Becky against Montez Ford and Bianca, saying who's the best power couple of the WWE. And Montez Ford, it just improved in the ring and everything, because if he's serious, he can be a real badass. Same thing with Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso and Naomi need to form a team once, Naomi's off her pregnancy and everything and get the baby or whatever. Once she returns to the WWE, her and Jimmy Uso need to be a dominant team, because think about it. Edge and Lita was a pretty good power couple. I liked Edge and Lita. Chyna and Eddie Guerrero was pretty good. Triple H and Chyna was good. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H was good. It's like, I like the power couple dynamic. I like that storyline that people have with the power couple dynamic. The badass bodyguard and everything. But, like, I don't know, man. Bring back Shinsuke Nakamura. Put Shinsuke Nakamura in a faction. Make a Bullet Club. Like, recreate the Bullet Club. Like, what I would do if I was WWE, I would recreate the Bullet Club. I would put Cody, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles. Let them be the new Bullet Club. Put Shinsuke Nakamura in it and everything. And have like a badass bodyguard like Tony D'Angelo or Oba Femi or some shit like that, or Almas. Like, I would make a powerful faction to stick it to Monday Night Raw. We would reunite the bloodline on Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns, the original bloodline. Then SmackDown can have the new Bullet Club, a badass version of the Bullet Club, something. But it just generally just sucks how SmackDown is just being mistreated, because now that Jimmy Uso's gone, Now that John Cena is possibly his last night tomorrow night, what's gonna happen on SmackDown? Y'all took away Roman. Y'all took away John Cena. Cody hasn't been seen in a long time, like in the past few weeks. So what's gonna happen? Yeah, we still have Orton. That's it. We still have Randy Orton. We got R-Truth, but remember he was supposed to be serious. Now his gimmick isn't serious no more. Damian Priest and Damian Priest and Aleister Black. I feel like they should make a faction, like make a Ministry of Darkness type faction. Have Undertaker leading them, or Kane leading them. Somebody, a dark force, a higher power this time. Like let it not be a lame ass high power like Vince McMahon, but let it be like a higher power gimmick where Priest and Black are like a faction. The higher power is the Undertaker, and then the Undertaker manipulates ways to make the Wyatt Six disband somehow. But that's never going to happen. But it's so many ways to make SmackDown better. I will form a new Bullet Club. I would get Punk and AJ on SmackDown. Like, bro, a heel Taz and a heel Bianca to me would be great. Now, people in the comments may say, "Oh, you shouldn't write for the WWE. You suck. You don't have a creative mindset." Who cares? Because at the end of the day, if Vince concocted something similar to this, y'all will be up his ass. If Triple H concocted something like this, you'll be up his ass. If Vince Russo created something like this, y'all will be up his ass. Because people that's purified wrestling fans are going to watch it regardless. It could be the shittiest storyline ever, and they'll still like it. They'll still watch it. They may roast it like, okay, you can do better because long-time storytelling builds something great. You could plant seeds and things like that, but again, I feel like WWE as a unit, as a whole, since the 90s has always hated SmackDown. I feel like SmackDown is the best show ever. I loved Eddie Guerrero. I still to this day think JBL is one of the best heels, top 5 best heels of all time. Being a wrestling god and stuff and the racist angles he used to do was just insane. Eddie Guerrero lying, cheating, and stealing and everything. He was a staple of SmackDown. Undertaker being a staple of SmackDown, being a resident of SmackDown. John Cena becoming the Doctor of Thugonomics. Cena debuted on SmackDown. Batista's best run to me was on SmackDown. Edge and Vicky Guerrero was a pretty good angle. Like, when Eddie Guerrero died, I hate how WWE did that, but it made Vicky a pretty badass heel. Like, your husband died, now you dating another man and you moved on, and Edge is one of the most hated guys in WWE during the time. Due to that, he wasn't the most hated guy during that time, but Edge wasn't really liked due to that Matt Hardy angle years ago with Lita. Now this dude's dating Vicky Guerrero now. So it's kind of like, damn, we already hate Edge and we growing to love him. Now we about to hate this nigga again. And now he's with Vicky Guerrero now. Like, this guy is just a freaking, low-key, this guy is a freaking player now. Like, he a player. But it was good storylines in SmackDown. The Great Khali debuted in SmackDown. He probably debuted during the time of the movie The Longest Yard came out and stuff. And that movie was getting popularity and stuff. It was like a box office hit. But the Great Khali debuted and was kicking ass. Mark Henry, Hall of Pain and stuff was going around on SmackDown. Like, yeah, Mark Henry was on Raw, that sexual chocolate. Yeah, Mark Henry was on Monday Night Raw, but that gimmick change with him sweating, the 3-6 Mafia, somebody go get their ass kicked. Like, Mark Henry was dominant on SmackDown. When he was World Heavyweight Champion, to me, he was one of the best World Heavyweight Champions of all time on SmackDown. He was dominating and whooping people asses. Like, he was putting people in the hand back. Like, that was that guy. Then once he get out the ring and shit, he just look back at you. Say, I just fucked you up. Like, bro, SmackDown was so good. Then after later years, Mark Henry go to Raw and he gets a gimmick where he's a joke. Pair him with MVP. He really wasn't serious. Then I remember one of my favorite Russian wrestlers, Vladimir Kozlov, was like, killing it in the WWE. I like Vladimir Kozlov way better than Rusev. I'm not a Rusev fan. I would never be Rusev fan. I was probably Rusev Day. I had fun with it. I thought, well, it's like I don't like this Rusev guy, but I remember when Vladimir Kozlov was dominating in the WWE, like kicking ass and taking names. Then they drafted this motherfucker to ECW and Monday Night Raw and made him a joke. And the end was there. Brodus Clay was a dominant badass. Then they made him a joke. So then Great Khali got drafted to Raw with the red pants and stuff, and they made him a joke. After a while, he was cool, but he was just stuck in developmental hell, and they kept him on Raw, and they made him a joke. So it's kind of like, bro, like, what the fuck? Then Batista, once he left SmackDown, he was balancing SmackDown and Raw, SmackDown and Raw. Then I remember one time he just quit. Then I remember one time he had blue pants and stuff, a blue gimmick. Like, people was calling him Bootista and Blue Tista and stuff. Like, 2005 was the year where Batista was dominating SmackDown. Like, Batista was that guy. But I just hate the fact that WWE just ruins talent on SmackDown, meaning once they're talent, you want to put them on Raw or release them or put them on ECW and then ruin them. I don't know, man. Like King Booker, like, bro, King Booker was one of the best King of the Rings of all time because Mr. Booker Huffman killed that role. King Booker was like that guy. Like, he was that guy. He was literally the champion of champions. He beat Cena and Big Show at Vengeance Night of Champions, I think. Like, it was epic. It was epic. He was one of the first African-American people to become a major star. Like, what I mean, like, I ain't talking about no mixed breed nigga like The Rock. Like, King Booker was like one of the most talked about African-American talent during that time. Nobody else can touch King Booker because King Booker was just that guy. I remember people in school talking like King Booker. I remember pro wrestling, she's talking about King Booker. I remember backstage interviews of King Booker. I remember how when he was King Booker, he was beefing with Batista and whooped Batista's ass backstage. This was that guy. SmackDown was so cool that Receipts was made. Receipts was made when we had our ECW One Night Stand and Blue Meanie got his ass whooped by JBL. Then I think a month or so later, or a year or so later, Blue Meanie beat the shit out of JBL and gave it a receipt. Or the last match of Eddie Guerrero was on SmackDown with Mr. Kennedy. So even before Chris Benoit died, God forbid, but before he died, he was the best technical wrestler on SmackDown. If you think of the best technical wrestlers on TV shows, you're going to say Chris Benoit, you're going to say Kurt Angle. Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle was killing it. Kurt Angle was killing it as Perk Angle on SmackDown. Like, it's just like every time that star leaves, every time your favorite superstar leaves, you think all hope is lost. Then a person like Kurt Angle come back and become a dominant badass. Or you get a person like Khali or Mark Henry, or a person like Batista. It's like, oh, we lost Cena. Fuck SmackDown. Then we get Batista. Now we have lost Roman Reigns and The Rock. Only person we have now is Randy Orton. Ain't no other person on that show a superstar on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu could be a star. Solo Sequoia could be a star. That's it. That's it. So I feel like SmackDown need to drop that. SmackDown need to listen to us podcasters, listen to everybody, and just say, fuck it, let's drop the ball. Not drop the ball, but let's build Montez Ford as a serious star, as a serious threat. Let's let him either A, form a faction with a serious R-Truth and the Street Profits and Carmelo Hayes. Let's bring up Trick Williams and let's have like a dominant 5-man faction. Or let's make Montez Ford and Bianca the best heels of all time in WWE history. Let us swerve them and everything and get some merchandise and let's get some sales and let's let these guys be badasses. Let's do something with Bianca and Montez Ford. Let's ditch Angelo Dawkins, put him on NXT or developmental. Let's do something with him. Let his character build. Let his character grow. This, that, and the fourth. Like, even when Crime Time disbanded, Chad and JTG was doing their own thing, and then Chad died, But then JTG was devastated and he dedicated his whole career to his homeboy, Chad Gaspard. But when JTG was in the Indies, he was Jay the God. He worked out, he got muscles, he was dominant. Bring somebody like JTG back. Many fans these days may not know who the fuck that is, but look what happened to Nick Aldis. When Nick Aldis returned to the WWE or debuted in the WWE, people didn't give two shits about him. Now fans are cheering for him when he comes. So it takes a while for fans to grow. Then we in YouTube days. Some people will be like, some of us unks will be like, hey, that's JTG with Chad. I don't know him. But then after a while, if people learn the gimmick, learn the person and study them, it's like, okay, I fucks with this guy. Like, oh yeah, we got Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. So when Drew McIntyre was the chosen one, I appreciated that. But again, I'm all over the place. But that's how WWE be. Like, Cody need to be back with the Bullet Club. Cody, Finn, AJ Styles, almost or Obafemi as the bodyguard. Like, SmackDown got to do something different to just take Raw off the map. CM Punk and AJ Lee and Rhea Ripley need to get debuted. They need to come back to SmackDown. They desperately need them because we need a star. We need somebody that can feud with Orton. We need somebody that can feud with Drew. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre feud is good. Was great. CM Punk versus Orton would be great. A fucking CM Punk and Montez Ford feud would be awesome. A serious Montez Ford defeating a dominating CM Punk and AJ Lee. Man, they can have a shocking victory where Punk and AJ Lee are killing it in a SmackDown, becoming a dominant champion somehow if she returns. And whoop-de-doo out of nowhere, Montez Ford and Bianca beat them both. And that'll put their names on the map. Passing the torch or some shit. Because CM Punk was underutilized and back then. And people didn't believe in him. People doubted CM Punk and he had to work his way up top to become one of the GOATs. And I'm not a Punk fan anymore, but you gotta think about it. CM Punk is one of the GOATs. He put wrestling back on the map. He made wrestling cool again with that fucking pipe bomb. And everything said in that pipe bomb was true. Pretty much true. But yeah, subscribe to my channel, people.